Hey folks, back again with a little more full self-driving, but this time I've got some gripes that I'd like to go over. Some things with FSD 13 that I just do not care for. And all four of these items revolve around issues with speed. And it's to the point where I just am not sure why some of these bugs exist. The first one is sometimes it really does go a little too fast. And this one's a little unexplainable because we have an explicit setting for what kind of offset would you like over and above the speed limit, if any. You do not have to put any offset in. You can set it at 0, 5%, 10%. You can even go up to 30 and 40%, which frankly I think is a little crazy, but I understand in some parts of the country, 65 miles an hour is really everyone's going 85. I get it. Still, that's a little bit high of an offset that I would want to have on there permanently for any situation. Of course, you can change it, but that seems to me like something you would dial up as the need arises. But anyway, sometimes though, it's I'm in a 55 mile an hour zone and I have it set to 10% over. So it really should be going at the most 61 miles an hour. 55 plus 5.5, you round it up, 61 miles an hour. But there are times where at a 55 mile an hour zone, it decides to go 66, 67, 68. And it's like, wait a second here. And I'm dialing it back. And I understand it's also got the setting where it wants to go with the flow of traffic, but still, I'm a little perplexed why sometimes it literally does go faster than what you have indicated you want it to go in any given mile per hour zone. So that's one that I'm a little miffed about. The other one, the flip side, sometimes FSD 13 really does go too slow. And this is most prevalent. I've noticed it in areas where the speed limit is, say, 30, 35, 40, or 45. Sometimes in a 45 mile an hour zone, it'll be going 40 or 41. And it's, again, a little inexplicable why it would do that. Now, what's interesting is if you go on that same stretch of road, but instead of FSD, just dial it back to regular autopilot with a maximum set speed of whatever you like. In a 45, let's say you set it at 50. Well, it will actually go 50 or 45, whatever you set it to, it will stick with that. And I'm not quite sure why FSD, when there are clearly no cars in the way, there's nobody ahead of you that's going slow, there's nobody behind you for that matter. It's just a regular, city or county road with a 40 or 45 mile an hour posted speed limit. And it does catch that it's 45. Like, for instance, right now it says 45. I don't know if on this stretch it'll do it, but sometimes it'll decide, oh, I'm just going to go 41 or 42. Now, here it's actually going 46, 47. I think right now I've got a 5% maximum over. So that's why it's only going a couple miles an hour over right now. But it's not really consistent from road to road and in different speed limit zones. I haven't figured out why there are places that it just will not even go the speed limit, let alone a few miles an hour over, which is totally normal and what a lot of people would do. So, and when I say a couple, I literally mean just like 2-3 miles an hour faster than the speed limit, just to keep on moving. But sometimes it's not even doing the posted speed limit for no apparent reason. So that's another one where you give it a little bit of throttle. You can either hit the accelerator or you can dial up your maximum speed, and sometimes that will trigger it. to go ahead and speed up and go a little faster in that zone. Number three is just a overall consistency with the full self-driving speed when you're on the interstate. And I'm convinced this is one where I think it's losing a little bit of efficiency on the car. So I definitely noticed this on our North Carolina long road trip. If you didn't already catch that video, I'll post a link here to our 1,600-mile road trip from upstate New York to North Carolina and back. And we did that on FSD. What I did not care for is when you would, in a 65 mile an hour zone, or actually a lot of that, especially through Virginia, is posted at 70 miles an hour. So I would usually set the speed at 72, just 2 miles an hour faster than the speed limit. Well, what would happen is it would go for 72 miles an hour for a half mile, a mile, 2 miles, but then again, inexplicably, it would dial it back a couple miles per hour, and then it would go back up. And it seemed like it was always chasing itself up and down a couple of miles per hour. It would go to 68, 69, 70, 71, and then back down again. And again, there was no traffic. There were no on-ramps that, it was trying to move over for any cars or anything like that. You're just on open interstate. And I'm convinced that actually hurt our efficiency, because it was not just maintaining a nice, smooth, steady pace at the maximum speed that I asked for. And again, it's something where if I were to just do that same path on regular autopilot, it's capable, much more capable, of maintaining the speed and just keeping that speed steady at the indicated upper limit that you've entered. And that's definitely better for miles per gallon, or miles per kilowatt hour. And what's a little miffing about it, what's a little frustrating, is the fact that it doesn't always do that on any given stretch of road. What I didn't really care for was just, again, how inconsistent it would be of just dialing up and back that speed without maintaining the speed that you asked for. Why there's a difference between autopilot and FSD when it comes to that setting, I'm just not sure. I'm a little perplexed. Again, it has that setting where it's going to go with the flow of traffic. You can turn that on or off, but that still doesn't account for why, when there is no traffic around, it still wants to be a little inconsistent with the speed that it's doing. And then the fourth item is technically about going too fast, but it's specifically when you are going from a faster posted speed limit to a slower posted speed limit. So let's say you're going from 55 to 45, and the car might be going 60, 61, whatever you've got it set to in your 55 mile an hour zone. It goes into the 45 mile an hour zone, and it knows that it's now a 45, because you'll see the icon on the screen change. But what does not happen is the car does not dial back the actual speed that it's traveling. It will just maintain now that 61 or 62, whatever you had set, and you're crossing into the 45 mile an hour zone, and now all of a sudden you're going 15, 16 miles an hour over the posted speed limit. That's a recipe for getting caught, definitely. I never like to go in any posted speed limit anything more than just 2 or 3 or 4 miles per hour faster, which no one's ever gonna pull you over for 3 miles an hour faster. And well, there's exceptions to that. I've lived in towns where 35 meant 35 and not 36. But in general, if you're literally just a couple miles per hour faster than the posted speed limit, you have no worries about getting caught for that. And I know that that means I might get to my destination a few minutes after someone else who's willing to go a little faster. But I also sleep well at night and know that I'd rather just not get pulled over for wanting to get someplace 2 minutes quicker. So I'm just a little uncomfortable with the fact that it knows that a speed limit has changed and it refuses to dial that back. So for instance, right now, let's say we've got it. This is a 45. We're set at 46 max. This goes to 30 miles an hour right here. There's the 30-mile-an-hour sign. And cops definitely sit in here. There it's at 30. All it's doing is backing it down to 32. Or I'm sorry, 42. It's still going too fast. Yes, I know I need to pay attention to the road. 38 in the 30 here is still too fast. It should be dialing that back to the 5% over, which in this case would be what, 31, 32. And I'm not really sure why. Okay, we're getting over here for this FedEx truck. That's good. And this is where it combines into one lane anyway. So I'm a little uncomfortable with the changes in speed limit. Now, in the reverse situation where you're going from, say, a 35 mile an hour zone to a 55, it usually will speed up. And there's one of the times where it often will speed up a little too much. It will actually go faster than your offset would normally allow for. But in the reverse situation, it almost never slows down. And right there was a perfect example of one where it clearly went to a 30. And that is definitely a section where police like to sit, because people do come through that little section by those two gas stations a little too quickly. And I'm just not sure why it is not capable of dialing back the speed when it definitely recognizes that the speed limit sign has changed. If what it's doing is trying to dial it back in a super slow manner, well, then it needs to do that. It needs to start doing that a tenth or a quarter mile before it gets to that speed limit sign. And so why it's, really, if it's even slowing down at all when it goes to a reduced speed zone, why it's taking its time doing that, I'm really not sure, because frankly, it shouldn't be. But now here on this road, I'm reminded of one thing I actually do like. This road that I'm on here for just a quarter of a mile, it has no center lane lines at all. There's no double yellow line of any type, and yet the car is able to navigate this road just as a human would, and just stay over to the right, stay behind the cars ahead of us, and allow other cars to pass us on the left. So it's not all bad. I'm not trying to say that at all. FSD is just so smooth, worlds ahead of where it has been in previous versions and in previous years. But those are 4 different gripes that I've got regarding speed with FSD. This is the 13.2.2, which is the latest version right now that's out for Model 3 and Model Y, at least with hardware 4. Let me know in the comments what kind of speed-related issues you've seen. Have you seen any or all of these 4 issues with FSD? If so, let me know. Let's discuss them. Maybe we can get this broadcast to the point where these bugs get fixed. That's the ideal thing. And I know there's always more software updates coming down. I'm actually expecting one here in the next few days. So as soon as that comes in, we'll get her tested, and who knows, maybe a couple of these bugs might get squashed. So that'll be a good thing. That's it for now. We'll see you on the next one. Keep your wheels below you. Keep tripping. Take care. Bye-bye.